Welcome back to the Sean Johnny podcast. I want to say thank you guys for all the support. On today's show, I'm really going to keep it simple. It's going to be kind of a mini rant. Obviously, we're still going to talk about news, finance, and things that make you money. So let's just get started. So Joe Biden is a projected winner of the 2020 election. And what I've wanted since the beginning was this all to just be over. Once there was a winner, I wanted kind of the party politics to end. I was getting sick of hearing and seeing things on social media, Facebook, CNN, Fox. And now that we've had the elections, they're still going on with the same stuff. And what I guess which I'm kind of upset that I thought was going to happen was that it was going to be, once it's over, it's going to be over. But it was clearly in the foreseen that President Donald Trump was going to sow doubt into the American system. He started it from the beginning. And I just want to say to all those people who think that 4+ million Americans, 4+ million more people is the... Let me restart that. I want to say to all the people who think that Joe Biden won was due to voter fraud, can you truly say to me that the reason Joe Biden won was that they were able to do voter fraud at such a large scale? Like 4 million more votes. You truly believe that he was able to commit and cheat fraud at that scale? And my biggest issue is the intellectual dishonesty. For example, Donald Trump will state in one state that he's leading, stop counting. But in another state where he is behind, he says, count every single vote until there isn't any votes left. And you can't have it both ways. It's basically saying, if I'm playing one-on-one with someone, any basket he makes doesn't count because he somehow was cheating. And but if I'm down, keep playing until the end. Like, you just gotta stick to one side, Do I believe voter fraud is a thing? I think that there is probably some some things that happen by mistake because human error is a thing. But I believe voter fraud is such a small thing that it doesn't impact the election. For example, in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump filed a suit because there was supposedly 53 ballots that weren't there before because the Republican watcher stepped away and came back and was like, why do I feel as though there's more ballots? Well, you weren't there, so how would you know? But anyways, that's a different story for a different time. I can understand that, okay, maybe they pulled 53 ballots somewhere, boom, added to that. But Trump, you have been losing Pennsylvania by 40,000 votes. Like, even if we take all the cases seriously, all the small cases where 100 here or something there, like, you don't understand, you still lost. You still lost by such a significant amount that it doesn't make sense, especially for even your supporters, to state that voter fraud is the biggest issue and that's the only reason you lost. Like, let's be honest. You didn't win the popular vote the first time, so you obviously weren't going to win the popular vote the second time. So we already knew that you were behind in terms of popular votes. So with the Electoral College, luckily, all you have to do is focus on the states that matter. But more Democrats casted mail-in ballots than Republicans did. So on day one of the election, which all the states were transparent and said, we're going to count the votes that were casted that day first, and then we're going to count the mail-in ballots votes. So it looked like Trump in the beginning had a lead because more Republicans voted Republicans voted that day than Democrats. So, for example, Wisconsin, Michigan, these are places you had leads in early. Pennsylvania, again, as another example, you had leads in early because more Republicans went to the ballots on election day. But then once they finished counting those votes, they switched to mail-in ballots. So I don't see where you think, oh, they're cheating. And I even see it on Facebook where now they're pushing, oh, they casted, dead people's votes. Like, do you really believe in 2020 that our system isn't equipped or they haven't thought out any of the wrinkles? You really think that they're, especially Republican-controlled states that you lost in, that the mayor, that the governor is Republican, the House of Representatives is Republican. You see, there was these states like Georgia, Arizona, that Republicans had control, but you're still suing saying there was voter fraud when these states agreed with you on all the policies for election day. And I want us as a nation to stop thinking that there's cheating, because let's be real. If the Democrats wanted to cheat, why did we not cheat for the Senate? Why did we not cheat to gain more House seats? Why didn't we do a complete sweep of cheating? And I need to remove myself from the equation I do not have a pony in the fight. I do not care if Biden's the president or that Trump is the president. Me as an investor, I know myself where it doesn't matter who's in office, and even statistics will show you that it doesn't matter who's in office. It's never mattered. It's never mattered. Statistically, it shows the stock market will do just fine regardless if it's a Democrat or Republican. Actually, statistics will say that the economy fares better with a Democratic president. But the caveat is that the Senate, or there's gridlock in Congress. So basically, the stock market likes it when the government doesn't do shit, in all honesty. And with this channel and with the podcast episodes, I want to kind of show people that you need to disassociate yourself from politics, because politics do not matter in your day-to-day life. They truly don't. There's very small things that may affect you from policy change, but your day-to-day life, it will not affect you. And what I want people to kind of also understand is that the media is biased in a sense where they're trying to sell you things. So they're going to keep saying that this country's divided, this country's divided, this country's divided. When what I see is, no, this country's not divided. It's very clear to me that we're all in the middle, but we have two parties that keep pushing further and further to the right or left. Republicans get more and more radical, and then Democrats, same thing, get more and more radical. We have to understand that capitalism has proven to work. It has. And I don't care. Please just look at the history of all the other societies that you want to praise. capitalism has been working, but we need to be able to find a balance. We need to stop polarizing from one side, because if we go too left, we're gonna be socialists, and we clearly see we've seen how that goes. And if we become too to the right, we'll become radical, and the great things about this country will be lost. We'll basically just become the pilgrims of the 1800s. As Americans, it is clear to me that we're in the middle, but they want to sell us that we're super divided. President-elect Joseph Biden did not cheat his way for this election. 74 million people voted for him, and 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. It was a close election. It was clear, fair. The results were pretty similar, honestly, to Hillary and Trump. Just kind of flip-flop. It literally was very similar, pretty predictable, and what states were going to do what. So to think that there was widespread voter fraud is just crazy to me. Like, these states go meticulously, and you're basically throwing all their hard work away, saying, oh, it's just cheating because you didn't get the outcome you wanted. That's dishonest. You can't be a graceful winner and a sore loser. You got to be able to take the good with the bad. And that's going to be my last thing I say about politics on this episode. I'm going to talk about the stock market and what's going on. There's been some ups and downs. It's been kind of a crazy, turbulent time. So let's switch over to that. All right. So today, November 10th, the stock market had its best day. It posted 800 points in gains, and it was all based off the Pfizer the positive news from Pfizer. Pfizer came out and stated that their vaccine is showing positive results, a 90% result, and they were in Q3 trials. And during election week last week, the stock market had its best week since April. And this was due to the fact that investors saw that it was likely that the Republicans were going to make control of the Senate and Democrats were going to gain control of the House and the presidency. But basically this would cause just simple gridlock. Obviously, Republicans and Democrats don't tend to work together. So investors view that as, there's not going to be any radical changes, versus if there's if Republicans did a clear sweep this election, there'll be some radical changes, probably getting rid of Obamacare and doing a lot of other things, and vice versa. If the Democrats swept, they would probably try to pack the courts and, push more, agendas that they want. And so investors view this as, this is a good outcome, because that means what needs to get done will get done, but all the other radical stuff will probably not get passed. And which is a good thing. It's a good thing to have some different perspective and not just have one party in control just doing whatever they want and then flip-flopping. That doesn't create any consistency. When there's gridlock and slow progressive movements, then you create a consistent order that's predictable and you keep the social order maintained. Previously, on the previous week before, the stock market was having just a terrible time. And again, that was due to the unknown of what was going to happen with the presidency and the fact that stimulus checks did not come out. And I still don't think stimulus checks will come out. I don't think stimulus checks will come out until Biden starts his first day in office. I think that Republicans and Democrats in this lame duck session are going to stalemate each other and just basically play chicken, which is kind of ridiculous, because I feel as though we work so hard to inform ourselves, and I think we should work hard to inform ourselves about who our politicians are. And they constantly making statements that I will work with the other aisle, I will work with the other party. But then when they get there, they're literally told by older, people who have been there, more seniority, do not work with the other side. Do not work with them. Don't let them gain any advantage. Don't let, and it's ridiculous that it's come to that. Because basically, that's why I view what happens in the government does not affect you. You should also be more concerned about state government, because that has a quicker impact on you. And you should just be worried about kind of personally you. And this is why I love investing in stocks, investing in real estate, and investing in these different types of things, investing in businesses, because I can control those. I cannot control what happens in the White House, what happens in the House of Representatives, what happens in the Senate. I can't control any of those things. So I only focus on the things I can control. I can control where I put my money and what companies I believe in. I control, what buildings I buy and what tenants I put in there. I can control how I build my wealth and how I can become not dependent on the government. And I truly think with not just Black Americans, not just Hispanic Americans, not even, and also in all races, there's got to be a mindset shift of, I don't care what the government does. I'm going to adjust and go make mine. I'm going to go get mine. America, I don't believe is as racist as it used to be. And I definitely know it's not as racist. I definitely think it's still racist, but not as racist as it used to be. But even if you read historian books, you'll see that free Black slaves had all the advantages as white plantation owners, as long as they were educated and they had money. So how do you as a Black man educate yourself and gain wealth? Because that is when you feel as though you're free. That's when anyone feels as though they're free. And I may be getting too kind of up in the air with this topic, and I just, for some reason I just felt passionate on today's episode, and just have been sick of just kind of the division in this country, and I want to see unity. Because Americans aren't divided. We're not a divided nation. It's simple. We literally are in the middle. People don't want to be taxed. Nobody wants their taxes to go up. People do not want, large amounts of people do not want socialist agendas, and large amounts of people don't want radical capitalists. Like, we want just the middle. We want to be able to be given an opportunity that's fair to everyone, with limited taxes. That's it. We all just want to be given an opportunity. I'm not going to drag this episode of the podcast any longer. There hasn't been much else in news. Please just make sure whatever news source you get your news from, please vet the news. Please look at other alternative voices. Listen to all sides. Do not get your news from one place, because they control you when that happens. I don't think you should be watching 100% Fox News, and I don't think you should be watching 100% MSNBC. You shouldn't. You should be watching and reading the New York Times, reading Bloomberg, Breitbart, read everything, consume everything, then make your informed decision. If you get your news source from one person, you're not an informed American, you're a robot and a puppet, and you're not useful to the society. We must have free thinking human beings who make decisions for themselves, not decisions that they're told. We only do that to toddlers. We only do that to kids. Kids are the only people where we tell them, hey, you need to do this. because they don't have the brain capacity to form and think it, to make their own decisions. If you're a grown adult, you have that, and you must seek to find all the information that you can. Do not just pick one side of news. You are not an informed individual. You cannot have a productive debate. And if you do not know something, you need to be able to understand and say, I do not understand the topic enough to be able to debate it. Please, I will debate it once I've learned and read more. That is it. That is all we have to do. As Americans, we can be the greatest nation again. With unity, a media that promotes nothing but unity, shows true news, and we just love one another. There's no need for hate. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. I do not hate you because of your viewpoints, because of your color, because of your religion. I judge every human being based off the character of person that they are. If you are a good, wholesome human being, you will be a friend and an ally of mine, regardless of what your viewpoints are. For example, John McCain and Joseph Biden were two complete opposite people in terms of views. And yet, they were best friends. They were good human beings, both decent human beings, nice to one another, listen to one's viewpoints, and just enjoy life together. Rest in peace to John McCain. But that is all you need, guys. I want to thank you for coming to this episode. Let me reset that. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of the Sean Johnny Podcast, guys. I'm going to come out with more regular podcast videos and episodes. Please check out my last video on how your credit score is affected. I'm going to be having more videos. I'm going to really dive in on investing, and I want to show you guys kind of tools I use for investing, and we're just going to break down everything that we can. Again, please like and subscribe. Message me on Instagram, Facebook. There'll be links in the bio. Get $20 from N1 Finance. Get one free stock from Robinhood. And WeBull still giving out 3 free stocks if you deposit $100. So go check those out. I want to thank you guys again. Peace!
High fashion. I be rocking all the time in high fashion. When I was grinding in the streets, yeah, they was laughing. I had to pull up with the cash, now who's laughing? Yeah, high fashion.